morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Stephanie Stewart. I'm one of our practitioners and a senior ministerial student here. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living of Greater Dayton. If this is your first time here, a very special welcome to you. If you take a good look at your bulletin, I don't have a bulletin with me, goodness gracious. If you take a good look at your bulletin, there is a kind of a tear-off strip on the edge of it. If you would be willing to fill that out and turn it in either to our Welcome Center here after service or put it in the offering basket as it comes in there later. This just allows us to say thank you for coming and put you on an email, a weekly email, spiritual midweek pick-me-up that you can unsubscribe from if you choose. But mostly it's just a way for us to say thank you and hello. By way of brief description, Center for Spiritual Living offers church for people who don't do church. We are a spiritual community, and we are an opportunity to come together to learn without dogma, guilt, or judgment. And we're part of what has been called New Thought, which is an American philosophical movement. Started almost 200 years ago, and our center has been here for about 72 or 73 years. And this year we are celebrating 100 years of the teaching of the science of mind. So this morning, Linda Andraco will be giving our reading and invocation. Our vigil holder is Jerry Bloomgold, sitting back there in the corner, holding the higher watch for us. And Linda and Lenza Smith will offer our interfaith candlelighting, which reminds us of the many sources of wisdom and truth available to us from the world's religions. So our children today are with Carol Huseman. Yay, Carol. Carol develops a lot of our curriculum for our kids, and she volunteers 2 Sundays a month. So a very special thank you to you, Carol, for all that you do for our children in our center. So any kids that would like to spend time with Carol this morning? Okay, if you'll all join me in a moment for a blessing for our kids. So here and now in this moment, I know in this place, in this time, that our children are both a blessing and that they are blessed. They are blessed by Carol, they are blessed by this place. And they bless us with their energy, with their youthfulness, with their simple beauty. They are closer to God than any of us. And it's a wonderful way to get in touch with that one again by being with them. And so I simply say thank you, God. Thank you, Infinite Spirit, for our children and for our teacher this afternoon. And so it is. So a couple of announcements. If you need a name tag, look, I remembered mine this year. If you need a name tag, please sign up for one back at the name tag table, which is back there. If you have one, please wear it. Please wear it so we all, I see lots of you wearing one. That's great. So we all get to know one another, and it also allows us to know if you haven't been here for a while or not, and so we can check in and make sure that you're doing okay. After service, please just put it in the basket. You do not have to refile it. Thank you. You can still get event tickets for a Cooking with God event in November. Laughter Yoga still has some spots open, and we are edging ever closer to our $5,000 goal. So please see me after service if you would like tickets for Laughter Yoga with Linda Andriaco and Mark Fowler. After service today is the fall hike at Glen Helen. Do not miss the fall hike. They'll meet at the Trailside Museum for a 3-mile hike. It's at 2 p.m. today. Do not miss the fun. All of our hikes are a gas, but the fall hike is really, really great, especially with the way the leaves are turning right now. So, excuse me. Coming this Thursday, November 8th, is the relaunch of the Spiritual Book Club. Louis Dean, would you be willing to stand? This is Louis Dean Tuck, and she is the contact person for the Spiritual Book Club. That's happening this coming Thursday, November 8th, so please see Louis Dean for more information. There's also information in your bulletin to contact her as well. So voting day is this Tuesday, if you have not voted already. We still have some copies of the League of Women's Voters Guide for you if you want to know more about candidates and issues on the November 6th ballot. It covers Montgomery and Greene County. If you need a ride to your polling place, please see me after service. If you find that on Tuesday you need a ride, please call the center here, call the office, and I will arrange to get you to your polling place. Now, if you all please open your bulletin, and if you don't have a bulletin, please make sure to get yourself one before you leave, because you are invited. You are invited. Beginning Wednesday, November 8th, we will begin offering a Wednesday evening service hosted by Reverend Cece. As we move through this difficult time together in our history, gatherings like this become places for us to come together, to build community and to work our way through fear into a new consciousness about ourselves, our lives, our country, and our world. So please join us Wednesday, November 28th at 7 p.m. 28th, 2-8, Wednesday 2-8. November 28th.
Yeah, you said the 8th.
Did I say the 8th?
Yeah.
Oop, sorry, November 28th. November 28th. I have 28th written down.
Did you say 7 or 7:30?
7 p.m. 7 p.m. to 8:30. November 28th. Wednesday evenings. Did I get it right?
Yes. You did good.
Thank you. So our practitioners are here to pray with you after service. Just ask anybody, and I don't. So I have my name tag, but I don't have my prayer stole on because I took it home to wash it and I left it at home. Would one of our practitioners be willing to stand? Thank you. Oh, good. One has on white and one has on teal. That's wonderful. Thank you, Judy, as well. Judy doesn't have everything. So you can find one of us after service, and we are happy to pray with you. Also, we have a chest in the back where you can fill out a card as well. So, and this is our gift for to you with deep love. So, it's time for more music.
We light the first candle to honor Buddhism. Let us vow to open ourselves to the abundance of life. May we be grateful for all our days, here, there, and everywhere. Let us vow to forgive all hurt caused by ourselves and others, and to never condone hurtful ways. We light the second candle to honor Hinduism. They who give have all things. They who withhold have nothing. We light the third candle to honor Christianity. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. We light the fourth candle to honor Native American religions. Looking behind, I am filled with gratitude. Looking forward, I am filled with vision. Looking upward, I am filled with strength. Looking within, I discover peace. We light the fifth candle to honor Judaism. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on this law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yield its fruit in its seasons, and its leaves does not wither. In all that he does, he prospers. We light the sixth candle to honor Taoism. Open the doors of abundance. Have plenty flow about me and fill me. Let my abundance be great. Make it flow to me with ease and beauty. We light the seventh and final candle to honor Maori spirituality. May clarity be yours. May understanding be yours. Through reflection, through personal endeavor, through respect, the virtues which bind us together as one, may we be filled with well-being. Today's reading is by Ernest Holmes. This problem of evil is solved only in such degree as we realize that evil is never a thing in or of itself. It is merely a limited use of perhaps a misuse of a creative power which is complete and perfect within itself. If we can feel it as something the human being has created through ignorance, rather than something that is ordained or predetermined, we shall be in a better position to combat it. Let's take these words into the silence for a moment. Today we see the beauty of God being expressed in the beautiful sunshine, the fall leaves, and everything that is transpiring here in this community. I am in total awe of all of this, and I say thank you, God, and so it is.
Whew. So good morning. We have a very special guest with us today. I don't care what Columbus Center for Spiritual Living says, she's ours.
Yes.
Reverend Catherine Bliss began her spiritual adventure in the Science of Mind in 1994, yes, right here. She shares that she cried for weeks at first, knowing that the message that was spoken was for her, that nothing could be added or taken from her because she is God's creation. She got involved doing service work, taking classes and participating in workshops, retreats, and other celebrations of life. She moved to Columbus in 2004 for a new career as a business analyst. She attended the Buddhist Center, practicing their ancient teachings, meditations, and chants, but missed the Science of Mind community. And then in 2007, Catherine, along with Reverend Molly Cameron, a newly licensed minister, started visioning and co-creating the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living. I guess we could have let you go for that. As a second-year practitioner student, she attended Mile High in Denver, Colorado, and completed her practitioner licensing in 2011. She returned to Columbus and served as the core council chair and as a leadership champion. She answered the call to ministry in 2012 and became a licensed religious science minister in 2017. And as a founding member and as an assistant minister for Columbus Center for Spiritual Living, she's thrilled to serve as a leader of leaders. She's deepened in her joy of serving spirit and in practicing the Science of Mind philosophy and principles. Please welcome Reverend Catherine Bliss.
I was told to make sure to hold this up to my chin, or it might squeal at me. So there's a kid outside, and he's playing basketball with all of his friends, and as he's playing, he loses a contact lens. And he starts looking around. Oh, you can't find it. And he's looking, and the friends are looking, and they can't find it. Soon he goes to Mama. Mama walks out, and she's looking around, and she finds it. And he's like, well, how did you do that? She said, well, you were looking for a piece of plastic. I was looking for about 150 bucks. Good morning. So it's my pleasure to be here this morning. And our topic is related to fear and error thought. And I believe that's the topic for the month of November. And part of this starts out with this thing called the fall. And the fall being something that we've heard the story talked about in many ways, where somebody eats a piece of fruit that they're not supposed to. And from that, there's some awareness of something's not right here. So I'm not going to go through the whole story because I'm pretty sure you all already know it. It's an ancient story. So the story of Adam and Eve eating the fruit. In Science of Mind, we look at this story just a little bit differently. We look at it like, how do I get to know myself? How does God get to know itself if there isn't something else? Not like not God, but if there isn't something to see, particularly in this physical world. For instance, I can't see my ears, but you all can. So I need you to reflect my ears, because unless I'm looking in a mirror, I can't see my ears. So it's important for me to know what my ears look like. So if you all want to tell me afterwards, that's great. I think they're kind of covered up right now. So this piece around error thinking and around that story is a human thing that we have judgment. And it's a good thing that we have judgment because, you know, for instance, with fear, if a car goes by and we just jump right out in front of it without any fear, yeah, we might get onto that spiritual realm pretty quick. So fear is a natural thing for the human nature, a part of who we are. But it can also run pretty amok, in case any of you haven't noticed recently. And that's not how I want to live my life. I don't want to live my life in fear and worry or anxiety. And so some of the ways that I get to deal with that and how we work with that in the science of mind, in one way is to become still and to become quiet. Even in the midst of fear or anxiety, just to sit and be still for a few minutes and to breathe. To breathe. Let's take a breath. So fear from air thinking, to me, is sort of like that habit pattern of fear. And how do we get away from that? How do we resolve that? How do we let that be and let that go? And I had already mentioned a little bit about becoming still for a few moments, or even just taking a breath. That helps us kind of center and focus within our own selves. And when I say within our own selves, I'm talking about that higher self, that God self, that knowing self, that loving self, which created all of life. It created me, it created you, it created the trees, those beautiful orange leaves. It created everything from itself. So really there's not God in anything else. If it created everything from itself, then it can only be God that is present here right now, or ever, no matter what it looks like, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what the sounds or what the words are. Spirit is in the middle of all of it. So my practice is to turn within, to become centered and to focus on that which is truth about me, that which is truth about life. And the fear is a human thing. It's not a divine thing. God isn't afraid of anything, anyone, anywhere, anytime. But it did create these magnificent beings in this magnificent life out of its own self, out of it wanting to know more of itself, to become more conscious, to have that experience of whatever is going to come forward. And so Spirit created all of us to have our lives, how we would choose to have our lives, as we use our personality and all that we are to create our lives, whether that's consciously or unconsciously. And here in Science of Mind, here in this community, as well as Columbus and about 400 centers throughout 30 countries, we choose consciously to the best of our ability. We check in and see where we are. We stop and feel that presence within us. And when we're checked out, we go to our practitioners. We go to our community members. And we talk about what we're afraid about or what's kind of got us blocked. And what's wonderful is they just say, yes, I am here for you. I hear you. I know who you are. They witness the truth about us. And in that gives us that free way to have another way of thinking about whatever's going on in our life. And because we're created out of something magnificent and extraordinary, we must be that. You know, you can't plant a tomato seed and get a carrot. Maybe on Mars or something, but not here. So, if we're created out of magnificence, and we're created from that divine love presence that's everywhere, absolutely everywhere, then here we are. And here we are in a community of love and support. So if you have fear that pops up, okay, it's just fear. It's just a four-lettered word. It starts with F. And it's as real as it needs to be for any of us at the time to look at what's going on. It's like, you know, we have various emotions. And when we pay attention and we listen to those and we check out maybe where those are being felt at, there's information that's available. And it's just information. And because we are, again, created out of that divine love intelligence that permeates us, then we are able to, like that divine, to stop and to check in and to choose something that is powerful for each of us. So, when afraid or feeling fear, stop, breathe, notice what needs to be done about it, maybe immediately, if there is anything that needs to be done about it immediately. And then, is it real? If you're not walking in front of a car, but you're going for a job interview, and there's fear there, but what's the fear really about? So, like, maybe I'm not worthy of a good job, or maybe I think I'm going to blow the interview, or something of that nature. The truth is that you're that divine presence. And so getting back into alignment with that, getting back onto target with that, again, the practice, the principles of Science of Mind, is to stop and ask for some support or help. After you've done your own work, stop, breathe, center, and take the next step. And breathe through whatever that fear is and go on for that interview. It will turn out perfect. The world is, and the universe actually, is for us and never against us. Never, ever, ever, ever. It's always for us. So whether that comes out the way you want it or maybe not the way you want it, probably a good thing because the universe is supporting the whole scenario. So that's a good thing. The other thing is to support yourself, again, with loving kindness and friends that will support you no matter what you're going through. Because there really is only one life and one humanity. And we're here and we're everywhere all the time. And even if I don't necessarily agree with some stuff that's going on, which is true, I don't support everything that's going on, but it's an opportunity for me to look and for me to see and for me to look into my own life to see where and who am I being in situations when life gets a little bit tough and a little bit hard. I choose always, to the best of my ability, to be about love and kindness. Because there's only one life here. And that life is my life. That life is all of life. And the way I be with one person is the way that I be with all of life. And I choose to enjoy it and have a good time. And I don't let fear stop me. You know, when I went off to ministerial school, I was like, oh, come on, really? I was actually a big no. Somebody said, so when are you going to ministerial school? I'm not going to ministerial school. Not doing it. Well, I believe we either get pulled by our heart or kicked in the pants. So I was kicked in the pants, and then I was pulled by my heart. It's an amazing education. So having the opportunity to eat the fruit provided the opportunity for us to be able to choose. And choice is huge. I mean, it is what has us have our life. We have thoughts, and thoughts are things. And then we choose. Like I said, consciously or unconsciously. And here in the Science of Mind community, I think we practice as much as we can consciously. So I'm assuming that you're choosing consciously to vote. And you're voting your conscience. Thank you. When we choose unconsciously, the cause and the effect of that is eventually something comes around and lets us know how well we chose. So we'll know how well we chose by the way we feel. We'll know if it brings joy into our life, or sadness, or whatever that feeling or emotion is. That will tell us what choice we've made. Conscious choosing is actually looking at something and just that, consciously choosing it. That's what I want in my life. I want more love, I want more peace, I want more life, I want more sunshine. I want more walks in the park, which I'm jealous you all get to do that a little bit later. And so Spirit has a way of expressing itself through our lives. And we make choices. And we practice conscious choices. And we practice, love and peace and harmony. And again, when something pops up that's not that, we have options. We have options because we have community. We have options because that divine love intelligence is expressing through us always and in all sorts of ways and manners. This is by Ernest Holmes' Practical Application of Science Mind. The power of choice with which man and woman have been endowed is either the greatest blessing or the greatest curse. Properly understood, it can lift him or her into the heights. Misunderstood, it can drag us down into the depths. He or she is free to choose anything that we wish, but we must accept the responsibility for our choices. The law will create our experience according to the choices that he or she or I make. So what a freedom, huh? What a freedom. What am I choosing? I mean, if I just look around into my life, at the result of my life, the result of my sweet little apartment and the brand new kitty that I just got yesterday. A little rescue kitty. She's so loving and purrs. She has nails too. Purr and eating. Look around our lives. What do we see in our lives? Is it everything that we want it to be? And I say that from a place of, is it everything that we want to be in the sense of fulfillment? Love and friendship and kindness, an open heart, maybe a fearless life. Is it everything that you want? Is it expressive? Can you open your heart up to a stranger and say hello? Question. Can you open up your heart and say hello to a stranger? Yeah, absolutely. Because if there's only one humanity, then even the stranger that we don't know is really like a part of who we are. So to consciously choose to say hello opens up a greater expression for our lives and also welcomes somebody else that maybe could have used that hello. So I think it's really, really important for us to look at our lives. Is it what we would have it be? If not, why not? Write it down. Share it. Bring it to the light so that you can choose something else. Because we're always choosing. I mean, always choosing. I'm choosing my words, I'm choosing my thoughts, I'm choosing the way I'm walking around up here. I'm always choosing, and that's true for all of us, whether it's, again, consciously or unconsciously. So let's consciously choose. Consciously choose to vote. And I know everybody's tired of the V word. I don't blame them, I am too. And it's so important. It's our right. So choose today. Choose more happiness, choose more love, choose more inspiration with your friends, or a meal that you can share together with somebody maybe that you don't know. Just try it on. What could happen? Fear is an interesting thing because fear goes like this in our mind. Blah, 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 blah. And that's pretty much what it is. And when we stop that inner critic or that dialogue that goes on between our ears and drop down into our heart and are willing to walk through whatever fear, which is mostly of the unknown, which there's so much that is unknown, but yet it is all known because it is all God, it is all spirit, and it's all at the core of our being. So it is what we are. We're not that and anything else. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the opportunity to choose and to re-choose, to be stopped and say, oh, here I am again, getting in my own way. There's nothing that gets in the way of Spirit. There's nothing that gets in the way of the Holy Divine. There's nothing that gets in the way from it just creating life and says, well, I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I'm just going to do it because I want to, because I want to understand more about life. So I'm just going to throw it all out there and see what happens. Of course, knowing it's all going to turn out wonderful because it has no choice but to. It's like a loaded dice, It's like it's going to always come out to the highest good for the best reasons for everyone, everywhere. Even though it may not look at it like it in this particular moment or in this particular second. When I back up, and I keep backing up from this space, and I get out there towards the moon, it all looks pretty extraordinary. The problems or some of the fears that I have, they just magically are gone. Like, I don't know, just not that significant anymore. So, backing up into that greater space, that greater knowing, and that greater understanding. Ernest Holmes reminds us that it is our sense of separation that needs to be healed. That we are actually separated, that we aren't actually separated, but without this sense, we could not exactly discover the power of our choices or the consequences of our choices. So, in order for life to have multiple unique grains of sand, like everyone's different, every single grain of sand is different, it has its own expression. And that's true in the multiplicity of creation. There isn't anything that is exactly the same. So Spirit expresses itself through that uniquely. It just blows my mind, actually. A grain of sand on a beach is like, how many grains of sand? I couldn't begin to count. Or even the leaves on a single tree. Spirit is uniquely expressing itself through every single leaf, and then through every single cell. It blows me away. And it's all God's creation. It's all created out of love and joy and a wonder and a desire to know more about life. So here we are, each of us, a unique expression of the Most High, of the Divine. It's all good. It's all good. I really want you to hear that. It is all good. We are the seed of that divine. And we are practicing and learning and growing and teaching together. And I'm just so grateful for this philosophy and for the New Thought movement overall that allows me to be conscious of my choices and allows me to walk through whatever fear comes up for me. It's like, okay, it's just fear. Another, like I said, 4-lettered word. It's not a big deal. Faith has 5 letters. And this starts with an F too. But it has 5 letters. So the practice is the practice of my faith. The practice of remembering who and what I am. And not only for myself, but for everyone. Isn't that amazing? Everyone. Regardless of the appearance. Because my human self wants to say, yeah, but, there's this, there's that. Okay, that's my human self. This brain that works the way it does, like this arm works the way it does. It's a mechanism that does what it does. But who I am is greater, and this is true for everyone, who I am is greater than any experience I've ever had or will ever have. Who I am is created from that magnificence, that pure love and life. And I am grateful for that. And I rest in that. And I hold that space for all of life. Uniquely, every single little grain of sand. I mean, every little piece of fiber on this carpet, I mean, it's just amazing. So, here's a little bit of a practice. It's a practice of compassion, especially when it comes to fear. And you can practice with yourself, or you can practice with another. And it is a Buddhist practice. It's called Tonglen. It's a perfect time in our country, in our world right now, to have this practice. It's fairly simple. It's a breathing meditation. And it only needs to take 4 or 5 breaths, as many as you need to get yourself centered and focused. And how that goes is on the in-breath, starting with ourselves, we breathe in any comfort, fear, any emotion that feels discomforting. We breathe that in, and with the next breath, breathing out, we breathe out love and peace and harmony, or whatever that feeling is, to dispel the breath in. And it's a Buddhist practice because it's about non-attachment. You can't get attached to the in-breath or the out-breath. Would you like to try that now?
Yeah.
Great. So starting with yourself, just take an in-breath. Breathing in any discomfort, any fear, anything that comes to your mind for yourself. And then breathing out peace, love, compassion. And breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And this same meditation you can bring to someone that comes to mind. And breathe in any suffering or discomfort they may have. And breathing out comfort and peace. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. This is again a Tonglen meditation practice that you can do at any time. Nobody even needs to know. You're just breathing. And it's pretty hard to get attached to something when it's with the breath. Breathing in and releasing. And in this way, we can share our compassion and our love, not only with ourselves, but for those that we know can use our compassion and our love. So thank you. Thank you for being willing to practice that with me today. And now, if you would, please, just join me in prayer. What we call affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment. So I start right where I am, recognizing that there's a divine love intelligence that is everywhere, all things, all times. It is infinite in its knowing. It is always present. It is always available. It is right here where we are, right here where I am. It is forever bringing life to life itself. It is forever recognizing itself through the life that it has created. And it is so pleased. So I'm grateful for this opportunity right now to release and to let go of any fear or anxiety or worry or discontent, just to let it roll off my shoulders like rainwater. And I can just set it down. I can set it down beside me. I can set it down at my feet. I can just let it go. For I recognize that there is a presence and a power that is within me that will always carry me forward. Always. And anything that looks like going backwards is really not the truth. For this evolution is always moving me forward. It's always carrying me forward. It is always pulling me or pushing me. I like the pulling me better. So I know that this thing called life, this thing called spirit, this thing called God is at the very center and the core of all of life. And there is nothing to fear. Spirit is animating itself in all of life with absolute joy and love, with abundance and wholeness and balance. For it is all God. And in my humanness, I call it all good. Although spirit is just all. Forever and ever and always. I can't get it wrong. All I get to do is play in this field of love and of joy and of peace. And to turn within where my faith is strong. And when it's not, to be able to reach out to you, my friend, to help me remember who and what I am. So I give thanks for this right now. I give thanks for this amazing community that I know loves and supports me no matter what. And it could be the community in Columbus, it could be the community in Dayton, it could be the community in Cincinnati, it could be the community in Africa, it could be wherever. I know that this community supports me in my faith journey. And for that, I am so, so grateful. So I simply now release my word into that magnificent creative medium that has no choice but to say yes. It has all that is needed, that is necessary to put this spoken word into creation right now. Right now. And for this, I am so grateful. And please join me in saying, and so it is. Amen.
A simple thread
Could our ushers come forward, please? Thank you, Reverend Catherine. So now we have an opportunity to give. We have a choice that we can make now. Generosity in giving is an incredibly important part of our spiritual hygiene here. And giving here at the center keeps what we do alive in the world. And that is incredibly important. So please take your gift in your hand or in your heart if you give electronically, as so many of us do. And affirm with me, I know the activity of abundance.
I know the activity of abundance.
In my life.
In my life.
And in this center.
And in this center.
I give and receive generously.
I give and receive generously.
From this everlasting flow of good.
From this everlasting flow of good.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Okay, so thank you to everyone who made this morning's service possible, our ushers and greeters, the welcome team, the Higher Mind Band, Reverend Catherine Bliss, and our practitioners. All the practitioners that are willing to pray with someone today, if you would please stand and let yourself be identified, and that counts me as well. So please take a good look around if you would like someone to pray with you, and please don't forget the prayer chest in the back. By the front door there. Okay, now if everyone will stand, I'm going to just make the practitioner jump back up again. I'm sorry. Please stand for our closing affirmation and our closing song.
I release.
I release. Okay. So please affirm with me. I consciously choose.
I consciously choose.
I choose joy.
I choose joy.
I choose gratitude.
I choose gratitude.
I choose happiness.
I choose happiness.
I choose love.
I choose love.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Have a good week.
Yeah, that's all I feel today too.